Hello, it's Julie from Do Business Like a Woman, and today I'm going to talk about dealing with fear and anxiety during lockdown and during times of crisis. So, hello everyone. I hope you're doing okay wherever you are in the world. I know that we are all experiencing some form of lockdown, no matter where in the world you live. I think that pretty much most places are on lockdown of some kind now. And, we can have a lot of fear. There can be a lot of anxiety around what's going to happen. And, it can hit us. So it hit me last night that it's just me in my house with my dog, and how isolating that could be. Now, I know many of you are with families at home, and that presents a whole different challenge in itself. But what I really want to talk about today is how to deal with some of that anxiety and the fear that's coming up for people. And also I'm going to pivot a bit later on about what we can do with our businesses to really make sure that you keep your business going through this time, that you are still earning money, and that you are also serving in a positive way and helping the situation, the current situation. So I'm going to start with the piece around reducing anxiety and how to deal with being isolated and depression. This is something that I have some experience with. When I was first freelance and I was working at home all the time, at first it was amazing. And then I remember I went through a period of actually feeling really very depressed. And this was right after my divorce. And just feeling, I actually had very high anxiety at the time and depression, and I'd never experienced it at that level before. And I actually reached out and got some help, and there was some help available through the NHS at the time. And I just had a couple of sessions. They weren't actually that useful, but what they did do is pushed me into my own seeking and really down the path of spirituality even more. And my spiritual practices, my spirituality have actually been my savior. And what I find today is that even in this scenario here right now, which is very triggering for many of us are at home by ourselves, and some of us are at home with our family, but it's very different to normal. There's not the contact that we normally have. There's not the socializing. And so, it's a different thing. But what I found this time is that my spiritual practices are really what keeps me sane. They're what makes everything okay for me. And they're what makes this time not so scary. So what I have found is that fears are when our minds run away with us, right? They are based in our thoughts, and our emotions. Very typically, they're not about what's happening right now in this moment. And so what I noticed for myself is that whenever I go into fear, it's because I'm in my own mind and I'm in my own thoughts, and I've fallen into worrying about what will happen, right? What will happen with my business? Will I be able to make money? What's going to happen with the world? Are my parents going to get sick? Am I going to get sick? This, that, and the other. It's all thoughts in my head. It has nothing to do with what is actually happening now in this moment. If there's something happening now in this moment, I will deal with that, and so will you. And it's not scary in the same way that thoughts about the future and thoughts about the past can be really scary. So that's the first thing I noticed. So really staying present and bringing yourself back to now. Do I have enough air to breathe? Yes, I have air to breathe. Am I okay? Is my body okay? yes, my body's okay. You know, maybe I have a bit of an ache or whatever, but just checking in. And even if there is some pain or something, being present with that. Okay, I have pain here. And that feels like, and you can deal with it. You can always deal with what is in front of you. The problem comes when we get in our heads and we get ahead of ourselves. We get into the fear and the anxiety. And so I'm going to give you some practical stuff too, but really this is the absolute starting point for me. And it's the very quickest way to bring myself back down to ground and become embodied and stop freaking out, basically. Get present. You can, like God, the universe will never give you more than you can handle, ever. And that sounds like a lot right now when there's so much going on. But here's what I noticed too, is that I've been paying attention. I've been reading a lot of things, looking at what's happening online. And I'm just noticing how different people respond. Now, I know we all have different scenarios at different places in the world, different levels of lockdown that we're in or not in, but I have seen some people responding very negatively, and I get it, and my heart goes out to people. The fear comes up for all of us, but I've also seen people responding very positively, communities coming together. And so I was fascinated, like, what's the difference between the ones who are like freaking out and really negative and the ones who are responding in a different way? And I was reading something in the newspaper, and it was about this freelance journalist who lives in Italy and was on lockdown, and she was writing her experiences. And it was a newspaper we have here called The Sun, which I never normally read because it's like, well, I have my own views on it, but this caught my interest online, and I was reading it. And basically this lady it was just like a massive article just full of complaining, like, you know, all the negatives, all the fears, the bad things. It was just like an overspill of someone's mind onto the paper, like someone's mind and thoughts about how bad things are and all the things that could go wrong and all her anxiety. And reading it was just like, wow, I could just feel my energy getting sapped just reading it. And it wasn't, like, it's interesting to see her perspective, but it wasn't helpful because a lot of it was not even based in reality. It was just her own fears and anxieties and her own perception of the situation. Big, long list of complaints, you know, oh, the kids are driving me mad at home, and I've been locked in this house with my husband and the kids for all this time, and, you know, what if I get sick, and oh, we can't even go and get a coffee at the local place, and this is awful. And I heard some old boys saying it was like worse than wartime. And, you know, I won't bring you down with the whole thing, but the whole article was like that. And I was just like, wow. And then I've seen other people who are talking about taking this opportunity to be present with their husband and the kids, right? To spend quality time that they don't normally get to do because they're out working or running their businesses. I've seen people talking about having time to slow down. You know, personally, I'm juicing. This morning I had a celery juice again for the first time in ages. I've put my rebounder in the courtyard that I haven't had time to do. I'm going to start rebounding again. And I've seen other people, you know, speaking about the fact that there are less cars on the road. There are no planes in the sky. The earth is getting a chance to breathe. Now, am I reducing the seriousness of what's going on or denying the negativity? No, I'm not. You know, my heart goes out to anyone who's suffering through this. And I know that me jumping into the suffering is not going to help any of those people. It's not going to help raise us back up. It's just going to feed into the fear. So my point is, we all have a choice in how we respond. And I know it's difficult. I know sometimes we're fighting our own minds, our own fears. And we still get to choose how we respond, right? I took the time to decorate my office. I'm taking the time to be in my group more often, to be with you guys and support you guys. Hi, Joe. Nice to have you with me. Say hi, guys, so I know who's here. Joe says global evolution. Yeah, I think so. And a lot of it is about how we all respond right now. Okay, so for me, another thing that's helping to make sure I don't fall into anxiety is having a plan, which I'm going to talk about in terms of business in a minute, but it's also having a routine. And I know that our government has said, oh, you know, have a routine. And I was like, gosh, what lame advice. Is that the best they can come up with? But in a lot of ways, it's also good advice. But for me, you know, that looks like getting up at the same time I was getting up before. I have my hot water and lemon. This morning I had my celery juice. It looks like I'm doing yoga every day. That's an essential for me now. That's a non-negotiable. We get to go out and exercise once per day. We're allowed to do that. I'm taking my dog for a walk every single day. And then I'm working, you know, I'm on here doing things. I've been coaching this morning with a private client. I'm coaching another client this afternoon. And then I have a discovery call. So I'm going to share a bit about how we like do business during these times. So stick with me for that. That's coming. But I really encourage you to think about how you want to use this time. You know, we all get to be on a private retreat at home, right? We have no choice, but let's make the best of it. So what do you have time to do now that you don't normally have time to do? There's plenty to do in your business if you're willing to pivot and respond to what's going on right now and be willing to support people. And I'm going to talk about that. But also, you know, just personally, what have you wanted to do? Maybe it's meditation for you. Maybe there's some books on your reading list that you haven't had a chance to get to. You know, maybe you get time to spend time with your pets. Maybe you're at home with family, or maybe you're like me and you're by yourself and perhaps that makes you feel anxious. Sandra says, hi, thanks for sharing. It's hard not to get anxious these days and I find it creeps up unexpectedly. Yeah, I really hear you, Sandra. It does for me too. You know, I can be feeling pretty positive and then all of a sudden I notice that I'm in anxiety and the thoughts have overtaken me again. And so, you know, just catching that and coming back to the present moment, doing the body check-in. Am I okay? Do I have enough air to breathe? Am I okay in this moment? And then seeing what is in front of you that needs doing. Perhaps it's the dishes. Perhaps it is something in your business. You know, perhaps it's a phone call to a family member or a friend to tell them that you love them just to see how they're getting on. You know, it's a time for us to express love. So I find that these things just bring me back down to presence, take me out of the anxiety. Just sometimes one conscious breath, remembering to breathe. You know, I have my journal at the moment, actually says breathe on the front. And it's a really, really helpful reminder. It's the simple things. But having that routine, putting some self-care things in there that feel really good. You know, I saw something again online that said something like, either I'm going to come out of this with all my home projects done, you know, 10 pounds lighter and much healthier, or I'm going to come out 10 pounds heavier with a raging drink problem. So again, we get to choose how we respond to this. And we get to lean on community, like come in here. You're welcome, Sandra, absolutely. Thanks for being here. I think coming together at this time, and I'd really like us to be able to use this group for this as well, to just come together and be together, because we all have those moments of anxiety. I think it's really natural, and it's not to suppress those or try and pour positivity on the top. That's not the reality of the situation, right? So anxiety is going to come up, fear is going to come up, there may be bouts of depression. We get to experience that. That's all part of it. This is like, reach out here or to a friend or on Facebook or on the phone and just talk to someone. And we get to experience that. And you know, what I have seen for me is that when I don't resist it, when I notice the feeling and I let it move through me, like I don't try and push it down or try and be happy or whatever, I feel it, and I notice in my body where it is. Like anxiety is sometimes in my tummy or my chest, my shoulders. And I feel that, and then deep breath, relax it down, let it move through. And when you let the emotion move through you, you can very, very often move on fairly quickly and get back to a level, get back to feeling okay. And so letting those emotions move through, posting in the group if you need support, come to some of the online networking meetings that we're going to do. I'll be setting those up and organising the first one of those this week. I'll post in the group about it, so look out for that. Be in here every day if you can, because I'm really aiming to support you as best as I can. So having the routine, really staying present, keeping the connection with others, doing the things that you haven't had time to do, keeping really good self-care. So I'm going to be painting my toenails with some non-toxic nail polish. I never normally get a chance to do that. So what can you do that you don't normally have time for right now? Leave a comment and let me know, like, what are you going to do that you don't normally have time for? Let's talk about business and how we pivot and make money during this time. So like a lot of people are feeling like just shutting down, or like they don't know what to say or how to support people, or that it's wrong to kind of make money or, you know, run our businesses during this time. Here's what I believe about this. Now is not the time to be hiding out. Now is not the time to be shrinking and stopping making offers. Look, there may be pivots that are needed in your business. Here's the reality of my business right now. I too had these fears came up for me, like mainly last week, but they just every now and again, oh, you know, limiting beliefs, people won't buy anything at this time. Coaching is a nice to have. People won't need the support, whatever. But I've recognized that they were limiting beliefs. And here's my actual experience of it. I was coaching a client this morning, and it was really, really good to help her go through how she's going to handle this time in her business, and how she's actually taking her sessions online and doing a webinar via Zoom to support her people during this time, right? So like really just supporting her to make a plan, and you know, to look at what do her people need during this time, what support can she offer, what content is she going to put in that webinar. And you know, it felt great to be able to support her with that. Then I had another person reach out and book an impromptu coaching session with me this afternoon, because I'm offering single coaching sessions right now, which I don't normally do. But I know that right now people need support, and they don't necessarily want to invest in a package, but they need to know how to pivot their business right now, and like what to do to move online, and how to best support their audience, and how to tweak their message so that they are being sensitive to the current climate, but still helping and still earning money. Because if we all stop earning money, that's going to be way worse for the economy, right? So it's about keeping things flowing even during this time. So and then I have a discovery call later, and I actually have 3 of those this week. So my experience is actually that people really need support right now. And here's something I know: people will pay for what they need to survive. People will pay for what they need to survive and thrive. And so right now, how can you help in your business? How can you help people to survive right now in your business? How can you help people to thrive right now in your business? I bet that if you genuinely ask the question and keep asking it, something will come. Like, even if you think that your business is like way too soft, you know, some people are like, let me think of an example, like, oh, you know, I'm a graphic designer, and so like nobody's going to be spending money on graphic design right now. Well, it's like, challenge that belief, because there are some businesses that are doing really, really well right now. I was just thinking about this earlier, and I just listed some of them down. And the purpose of this is really just to give you an alternative view, because yes, a lot of people are scared to spend money, and a lot of people are kind of tightening their belts and all the things. But also, people really need help right now. People really need to know how to survive this time. People need to know how to take care of their health. People need to know how to crisis-proof their businesses. People need to know how to earn money during this time. People need to know how to pivot to online during this time and how to deliver their services online. People need support and counseling right now more than ever. People need inspiration right now. So people absolutely will still pay for what they need to survive and thrive. Now, here are some businesses that are doing really well right now. Supermarkets are doing really well. Online shopping and delivery services are absolutely busy right now. Online fitness classes, because everyone's at home and they want to keep fit. Online courses and programs. People are learning new things. Online counseling, online support, and then things like paracetamol company, right? Paracetamol sales are through the roof. Toilet paper companies, right? Now, I'm not suggesting you go and open a toilet paper company, but my point is, in these crisis times, there are always people who survive and thrive and businesses that thrive, but it's just about being flexible and being open to responding to the need and what's happening. And so, you know, you may not go and open a toilet paper company, but they're going to need a graphic designer, to bring it back to my original example. So a lot of it is around our mindset and whether we can view this as, how do I help right now? How can I help my people not only survive, but thrive during this time? Because that is what is needed. And I bet if you genuinely ask the question from a place of service and you ask spirit, you will get an answer. Keep asking. Now, if you have just a business that for some reason you cannot think that you can make it work during this time, and I would really challenge that for like 99% of businesses. Like, reach out to me if you are having trouble with this. Reach out, tell me what your business is, and I'll help you work out how to pivot for this time of crisis that we're going through. But if we find, or you find, that you really have a business that just doesn't work right now, well, then it might be that you pivot a little bit yourself. You know, we all have to find ways to make money. Money is just about adding value. Yes, we're in a time of contraction and fear out there, but there's always money flowing. It's always the way. And more money can always be created. It's not a real thing. The thing that contracts is the value and the creation, and it's the fear that brings everything in. But if you can find a way to stay open and really, really serve. Now, we are entrepreneurs. Some of us are freelancers. I identify with both labels. I've been working online for like over 6 years, and I've been full-time as a freelancer online for over 4 years. It's the way I've earned my full-time income. In that time, I've done lots of different things online. I was a virtual assistant. I was an online business manager. I've helped with marketing and copywriting, and now I do coaching and mentoring, you know, helping businesses and small business owners. But my point is, there are always ways to earn money online. Now, you may need to think outside of the box, but here's what I know about our crowd. We are incredibly resourceful. You know, there are fallback places. There are platforms like Upwork and Freelancer, and while they might not be your first choice, you can absolutely get on there and put a profile and get some clients if you need to earn money desperately. You know, perhaps you're a coach, but you're excellent at copywriting. Offer copywriting as well. Offer single sessions right now. Offer what people need. Reach out to previous clients. Offer to help them, you know, with whatever they're going through right now in a single session, or something. Tweak your package to what's going on right now. I promise you that if you can show the value, people really need support and help right now. But my point is, you can find a way to make money. You absolutely can. I just fully believe, like, I know that if it came to it, there are so many things I could do. I could go back to offering VA services. I've just listed a bunch of companies and businesses that are doing really well right now and actually need support. So it's not like everything is closing down. Like, what webinars could you run? What Facebook Lives could you do that will genuinely support people right now? Just have a think about it. There's so much that we can do when we change our perception from one of scarcity and through the lens of fear to what can I do? How can I be resourceful? And how can I earn money during this time? Right? And whether that's through your business, and I bet it can be, or whether that's through doing something else slightly different to earn money. What questions do you have? Pop your questions below in the comments. Jo says she took her yoga retreat business here in Turkey online to help try and keep my small business afloat. Well done, Jo. I love that. Brilliant, brilliant. Exactly. And exactly what people read. Exactly what people need right now. So how is that going for you? Is it going well? Thanks for sharing that. Sandra says she does media publicity and is thinking she should offer her services to those whose businesses are struggling. Yeah, just feeling into that, Sandra. I think so. I think that would be great. And really maybe with an angle to around how businesses are adapting to support their clients during times of crisis. That would make excellent positive media coverage in a time when most of the media coverage is so fearful and so focused on one thing. It could be like a chink of light, in the darkness. So I love that. I think that's great. I think that's amazing. What other ideas have you got, ladies, for your own business? What else did I want to tell you? Share with you. I think that's it for now. We're going to be doing some online networking meetings in the group. So make sure that you come and join us. Also, I'm going to be running a webinar all about how to make money online. As I say, I've been doing this for years, but it's really about how to make money online during this lockdown and during this time of crisis. I'm going to share with you all my best things that I've learned and give them to you for free, just so that you know like how you can do it during this time. And we're going to talk about some of the hard things, like, do we need to be careful with our resources at this time? Should we be investing in ourselves or should we not? I think we need to have the discussion about this. So we'll be talking about all of that. I'll be giving you more ideas for how to earn money online, talking about how to actually transition to offering your services online. You'll get a chance to ask me your questions, and I really want to support you. So I'll be doing some coaching in that session, right there in the session, to just help you with what you're going through and any anxieties and fears you might have, and we can come up with some solutions together. There are always solutions, even the hardest of times. Right, so that webinar's coming up. I need to pick a date for that. It's going to be soon. Drop me a comment if you would like to attend that webinar. It's going to be free, of course. And the other thing I'm offering right now is single coaching sessions. So I don't normally do this, but as I say, right now, people are scared, a bit scared of spending money, but I want to be of service and really help you to look at how do you pivot your business during this time. I'd like to instill some faith into you and help you make a plan for how to make money over the next few months, because it's not about sticking our heads in the sand. So really help you to crisis-proof your business. So we can do that in a session together. Single session of an hour will be plenty. Reach out to me if you are interested in booking one of those coaching sessions. And I will be in touch about the online networking and about the webinar. Lots of love to you. Stay present. Stay with love. We got this. reach out in the group if you need anything. Reach out to me personally. I'm here for you too. Lots of love. Bye for now.